Chepe, they were second at the Europeans. First at the Europeans, though, was Serafin and Kisley, and they're in boat 198. Personal favourite, and I will be biased on the way round, boat 191, Fernandez and Alvarez from Spain. Really well-drilled K2. They've been world champions in the past, and I'm hoping for similar today. Don't forget, though, Anderson, Melina Anderson, who we saw win the K1 yesterday, she's teamed up with Ella Richter from Sweden. They're in boat 201, third at the World Championships last year behind the South Africans, one of which was Hockley, and she's got a different partner this year with Pippa McGregor. I can't remember who she was with last year.
She was with Christy McKenzie.
McKenzie, that's right. So McKenzie and Hockley last year. It's McGregor and Hockley this year. They beat the Swedes last year. We've yet to see what will happen. Sweden 3 from the top.
There you
Hungary,
can hear the heartbeat
Czech.
as the last boat touches the pontoon.
Alvarez and Fernandez closest to us, struggling to keep the boat straight by the look of it. Away they go. So Spain, Hungary and Czech this side. There's your Spanish boat, Fernandez and Alvarez.
Good start from the blue boat from Sweden on the far side, as you can see in the top crew there. So that'll be Anderson and Richter.
Second Spanish boat of Osa and Barrios, third at the European Championships, also up there. That looks like a good K2, doesn't it? That yellow one.
That would be a French boat.
French, there's Huey.
Portugal and South Africa in
all
screen.
Together. Red boat, that's got to be. There's only one girl races a red boat, right? Is it going to be Kisley and Serafin?
At this stage, I would say yes. And there
No,
we
it's
see
not. It's the other Hungarian. No, it is Kisley and Serafin.
So that is them in shot. Red boat with a white stripe. We knew that they were going to be pretty strong, as is the second Hungarian crew, which is sitting on their wash.
Anderson, Richter in the yellow. South Africans tucked in the back nicely. Well, both South African boats tucked in the back nicely.
That's going to be a big group. Almost 11 boats with one crew just
pretty much
struggling.
Everyone there, isn't it?
Now 13 boats at the start line, almost 11 in this group. We think 12 comfortably, one just off the back. Being led by the Hungarian crew of Serafin and Kisley. Second Hungarian crew in the white boat on their left, and on the right are the Swedes.
Just at the back of that group is Great Britain's Urquhart and Kreft.
Spanish crew on the inside. That's Fernandez and Alvarez. They've been world champions before. And that's the formation.
So it's a monster group to get round turn one.
Lots is going to happen in this first corner. We know that that concrete turn has not been great in the first race of the K2 junior men for turning wise. They need to learn how best to do it, but with such a big group, some boats are going to be squeezed, some are going to go wide, and some are going to have to interval to get back up.
Spain on the outside, making a little move up for the turn. Alvarez, Fernandez, just making sure they're further forward, just to get a nicer ride around. Richter and Anderson on the inside.
Smooth turn, but yeah, that French boat's coming a little unstuck with the concrete, and you can see the boats at the back
for the South Africans.
Struggling with a turn, and that's what that
Riding
turn did.
over the boat.
They're going to have to interval to get back up now, otherwise it is going to be a small break of 6 boats, with 2 chasing at the moment.
Those 2 will get back in to make it up to 8, but then after that it's South Africa and Great Britain and the Portuguese all over the shop back there, trying to find a wave to help.
Yeah, there's that second wave which we've seen before, that some of the paddlers come around and then they regroup in this calmer water at the entrance of the island. But let's see how the race pans out.
South Africa 1 in there, Czechs just making up the back of that pack.
This is where we often see the formation going into 2x2, stringing out the boats. Hungary, then Sweden in the blue boats.
The junior boys group wasn't that big, was it, coming into the first turn?
I think that first turn definitely created more havoc than it has in the senior women's
Spain
race.
2 coming around the left-hand side. So Hungary, Spain, Sweden, South Africa, France, Czech. They're all in there.
That second Spanish boat has got Ossa and Barrios. Barrios has had some incredible singles races. She knows how to race marathon, knows how to interval, so she won't be giving up yet.
Fernandez Alvarez on the right of that group. Hungarians still leading. I think it's Spain that have made it to their side. So Hungary, Spain is your front three.
Lots going on still, and we do think that it looks like the group, it's regrouped besides Portugal at the end, but we'll see as the shot pans out.
Fernandez Alvarez on the far side of the group. The Spaniards this side is Ossa and Barrios, just behind the red boat of Hungary.
And as these K2 women are going to come around the turn of their first island lap, we can hear the heartbeats in the background, which will be the start of the C2 senior men's race of 21.8 kilometers. So there's a chance that we'll have 2 shots on camera coming up quite soon.
Hungary, Spain. They're all around. Well, I was going to say they're all around cleanly, but it's just gone a little bit awry. Sweden on the inside, South Africa 1 and 2. And then the Czechs.
Yeah, it's a little bit of an interval as they come around this turn.
France have done a good job to get around that turn tidily. They might maintain contact with the group because of that. Then it's Portugal, then Great Britain. So as this race marches on, it's no surprise that we see Hungary 1 and 2. So Janczuk and Smetlio from Ukraine, Laxo Bako from Hungary, Lacerda, Coelho from Portugal. I think they were in the medals. They've been in the medals before. Busto and Miguan from Spain, Abe and Otani, I'm messing up here, from Japan, Nuta and Springsteen from Romania. Then it was Wozniak and Chernetsky from Ukraine, Zukora and Borgil from Poland, who were first and second yesterday, Duro and Garrido from Spain, with one of them in the medals yesterday, and then the Tarnovsky brothers. Who knows what they'll be wearing today? They've gone blue, the Tarnovskys today, and that's the Romanians also gone blue. Ukrainians closest to us, 2:06. The Shemetlio and Janczuk. I think it's the Tarnovskys giving it the big one on the inside today in blue.
Ten boats on the start list. You can all see them with a drone shot.
Then the Romanians, Springsteen and Nuta in the middle there, and to the left are Ukrainians, Shemetlio and Janczuk.
Distinctive colors there from Romania, especially with the colors on the paddle. They're almost going head to head with Moldova's Tarnovsky brothers, and we'll see how they regroup before they come to the bottom.
Contact there between Spain.
Oh dear, that's not sure what happened there.
Non-intentional, I think just got pushed by the waves.
And possibly,
no damage done.
But it almost looks a bit like they're wanting to come around the turn on the inside as well and get away from some of the waves and be in some calmer water. It's always tricky for these C2 boats, favoring one side of a wave.
So Moldova, Romania, Ukraine, Spain, Portugal, Spain, Hungary and Poland.
And that's a great shot, as we can see the K2 woman at the bottom turn coming back upstream for the first time. It looks like we have 5 boats at this stage with one off the back.
5, 6 in that front group. Anderson and Richter at the back of that group. Hockley McGregor in there still, Osa and Barrios, Anderson Richter, Cinco Chepe, Fernandez Alvarez, and Serafin and Kisley.
This is the first turn.
There
dear, we have a boat.
That's Duro and Garrido.
From Spain. That's not ideal, but hopefully
he'll be back in fairly quickly. Didn't really see how that happened. Did he just punt himself out off his paddle?
Yeah, I think he touched the concrete
yeah.
block, and then he had nowhere to put his paddle. And if he did put it in, he would have hit the concrete. So
I reckon that's replay territory. So the Tarnowskis, here we go. So he's coming in. The next stroke.
And he couldn't put his paddle anywhere.
Paddle's got nowhere to go. I think the boat's just ridden up on the edge of the concrete, hasn't it?
And then he actually hit the boat, and then his body was already leaning, so there was no way of getting his stability back. But where they did take a swim...
The guy in the back's quite calm through all that.
Yeah.
Quite impressive, really.
Yeah, he had his partner's back. They would have lost a bit of time, but they're back in the boat now.
And there they go. Heading back to the side of the Ukrainians and to the tail of the Portuguese, and there's the leaders in the distance, both wearing blue shirts handily, but at least one's got colourful paddles, so we can tell the difference. So Tarnowskis from the Romanians.
Those are your leaders at the moment in the C2 men's senior race. They've made a small gap.
I think we'll see changes in that. I haven't seen the Polish in there.
No, but we know that they finished really strong.
They're way down in 8th at the moment, Zukora.
But yesterday they had an incredible second half.
That's them right in the background now with the white hats.
Yeah, so we won't put them out of this mix at the moment, because we saw how good they were yesterday in the second half of the race. Once they found themselves, their start wasn't as good either, but they ended up taking the gold and silver medal. Now they're in a boat together. So we'll watch this space.
So a little bit of early days chaos. Spanish making their way back up through the field as well. They've overtaken the Ukrainians who we saw them with earlier and are tracking the Portuguese, who are currently in 3rd position. So despite their swim, they're in 4th, which is pretty impressive, to be fair.
So yeah, as we see the C2 boats, we have the Hungarian boat leading a big group.
The Cinco and Chepe from
So
Kisley,
2 Hungarian boats,
2 Spanish boats, two South Africans
and a Swede. So this is exciting. This is the leading K2 women's group. A big group as they come past in front of us. Race start number 2 for day 4.
I'm impressed because the South Africans were right in the back of that incident at the bottom turn, around the first turn, the right-hand turn. They got back with us, the Great British crew at the back. They were all sort of crunched up together.
These crews are all well practiced as marathon paddlers. Our 2 South Africans have raced at this level for a couple of years, especially both girls in the front, Jenna Nisbet and Saskia Hockley.
The Portuguese do Michael Gomes and the British Woodcraft and Craft.
This is turning into an exciting start, having such a big group of K2s in the beginning for the first lap. Lots happening on day 4 of the 2025 ICF Canoe Marathon World Championships. We know that there will be a medal ceremony coming up quite soon as well for the K2 junior boys,
which had all the excitement you'd expect of a junior boys race. But here we are at the leaders. It's Cinco and Chepe, Serafin and Kisley, Barrios and Osa, Fernandez, Alvarez, Hockley McGregor, Anderson, Richter, and then at the back, Nisbet and Wilson.
So this is a formation that we've seen before on this race course. This is how the boats end up coming up because of the current and wanting to hug the bank, not with a group of 4 in a diamond formation. And with so many boats as they come around the turn, this is going to be an interesting turn to see.
It's a very gentle approach to the turn from the Hungarians there. They left plenty of room.
They took a wide
2 Spanish
turn.
coming together a little there. And the Swedes tapping into the back of that second Spanish crew, but no harm done. Alvarez, Fernandez making their way up to the side of Serafin and Kisley.
Yeah, so now we'll see the groups changing and the formation changing as they come downstream. We've seen this in the previous races where the lead might change and they form a group of 4 with somebody in the V-wash again.
All looking quite pedestrian at the moment. The group's that big. Not often do you have a group that big after a whole lap of this. Usually the Hungarians have done something a little more damaging at this point. Maybe wait until the first portage.
Yeah, they all look pretty smooth at this point, so perhaps this is going to be the big group leading into the first portage, and then we'll definitely see some changes. But it does make it for an exciting start to this race to have 2 Hungarians, 2 Spanish, 2 South Africans, and the blue boat of Sweden in the mix. A group of 3 in the chasing group being led by Czechia, from France, from Portugal, and in the background, the British crew.
That's Bilova and Boriskova, Huey and Buenard, Duarte and Gomes, with Urquhart and Kref just behind them on their own. There's 2 other boats in the race from Australia and Argentina, and they're well behind at the moment. The front group remains large. I think the French might have been for a swim, you know.
Because of Huey's hair. Is that not how but that's how she's paddled all the time.
No, but normally it's more wind blown than that. That's looking a bit like wetted down.
K2 races are ever...
And they were with this lot early on.
They were paddling really well in the beginning, but in K2 races there are definitely more splashes in between, having boats so close, so many paddles. So unfortunately
there's definitely a bun thing going on in Hungary.
The plats and buns are the trend at the moment. That's the look.
So Hungary, Spain, South Africa, Sweden, South Africa, but all in the same group. It's a good race so far. Big gap back to the second chase group. First chase group, 3 boats in that group.
So this is the normal marathon formation that we see always with the boats coming down at this course in Hungary Gyor. Boats sitting on second wash, South Africans not looking happy, so they're putting in an interval and forcing a change. This is often what happens when there's a boat on a second wash.
That was super effective for them.
Yeah,
the Hungarians didn't want them to go round them, so Cinco and Shepe sped up as soon as the South Africans put in that little bit of effort, which is the plan, right?
Yeah.
You put in the effort, you don't want to go to the front, you just want change.
Yeah. So this is going to be the medal ceremony of the K2 junior men, which we saw earlier, a really exciting race. And this falls in between the race happening at the moment. We were kept on the edge of our seats for the whole way on this race.
Ladies and gentlemen, medal ceremony for junior men in kayak pairs in the long distance. The medals are presented by Mr. Terry Best, board member of the International Canoe Federation, chairman of the Freestyle Committee, accompanied by Mr. Gergely Hadvina, team leader of Hungary. In 2025 in Gyor at the ICF Canoe Marathon World Championships, bronze medalists Keegan Fold, Riley Smith, representing the Republic of South Africa.
So they are bronze medalists are Riley Smith and Keegan Bach from South Africa. They still had a great last portage, but the boat strung out. And they complete the podium in bronze. Bach getting a silver yesterday in his K1.
That's not a bad haul, is it, to go home with?
He'll be happy with his performance. Big smiles on their faces.
Silver medalists, William Short, Alexander Morgan, representing Great Britain.
They're your silver medalists from Great Britain.
From them. They did say they were suffering a little bit on the way round. Short was ill yesterday, and he said he was cramping up on the way round. It didn't look like that. They looked really smooth, but said it wasn't all that good. But he comes out this weekend with a gold and a silver.
So a good weekend for him, as him bringing his partner Morgan with him for silver today in the K2 junior men. He'll be happy with that.
He will be happy with that, very happy with that, because to beat these two would have been a big ask, even on a good day.
Champions, aranyérmesek, maraton világbajnokok, Lánti Zaránd János, Budai Kevin, Magyarország, Hungary.
But these are your champions, Kevin Budai and Zarand János Lánci from Hungary, world champions in the K2 junior men's race for the 2025 ICF Canoe Marathon World Championships. We're going to hear the Hungarian national anthem shortly while they soak in the moment.
Ladies and gentlemen, please rise for the national anthem of Hungary. Ladies and gentlemen, the medalists, congratulations, gratulálunk.
That brings junior racing to a close for this weekend. Budai, Lánci, Short, Morgan, Smith and Vogt. Great race. There's confusion over the selfie on the stand, but we're back to the C2s and it's changed. It's the Moldovans leading from Spain's Duro and Garrido, who took that swim on the first turn there, the concrete turn, and next to them is Coelho and Lacerda from Portugal. The Romanians falling back into fourth with Sprintian and Nuta, and behind them, don't write them off yet, Busto and Miguel and Zukora and Bourgil. Zukora and Bourgil, first and second yesterday, so no slouches, and that's for sure. So anything could change. But for now, the leaders are Moldova, Spain and Portugal. Romania just struggling to stay in touch with them. The women heading back soon for their first portage. They're just entering the main river again now, and we'll go round that left-hand turn back to us in about a minute's time. So here's confirmation of the order in the C2 race. Moldova, Spain, Portugal, Romania, Spain, Poland, Hungary and Ukraine.
Férfiai 6 kört mennek, ugye 5 hosszú kört és 1 rövid kört, 5-ször jönnek ki elég futni, a következő körben már őket is láthatjuk. természetesen a futáson.
Tarnowsky's leading at the moment.
Az első kört ők is már letudták, elindultak a második körbe.
From
És a
Douro.
második körben már ők is jönnek ki elég futni, ők ezt 6-szor teljesítik.
And Garrido. We're missing Oscar Grana from the race this year, one of the most experienced men in all of these competitions. Tarnowsky's speed up for the left turn, for the right turn. Spain stay on their inside. Portugal opt to go slow. No, Spain have opted to go wider. Also, maybe after their incident on the previous turn, or they're just taking a different angle through to it, I think. Portugal also gone even wider to get the same effect, just to take the sting out of that turn. This time, it looks like they're all round safely. Romanians just going round now, and they're chased by Spain and Poland together. Back to the women's race. No surprises, it's being led by the Hungarians. So it's Cinco and Chepe on the inside. To their left is Fernandez and Alvarez. Then the red boat of Serafin and Kisley. Then Nesbitt and Wilson on the outside. Hockley and McGregor. And off the back of that group now is Nesbitt. No, it's not. It's Anderson and Richter on their own. And that's going to be a long journey on their own for sure.
Yeah, that's the blue boat of Sweden.
Yeah. Really impressed to have two South African boats in this front group and well placed within it. Sweden struggling though. 6 boats with Osi and Irata. Osi and Barrios, rather. Barrios and Osa at the back of that group. Portage number 1 coming up.
This is going to be a really exciting portage as you see them coming through, having 6 crews.
There's potential here for the 2 Hungarians and that front Spanish crew. They're arriving first. They're 3 fastest boats in the competition, I think. So if they all get a really clean one, there is potential that this could split the group.
Yeah, the put-in is always tough with so many boats. So you're wanting to interval to get out clean, put in clean. Nobody's going to come in for a juice change at this stage. It looks like they all started with juice around their neck. So this is going to be an intense portage. They've been paddling well together, but I'm quite sure that they want to break up the group.
Here we go. In first, Cinco Chepe. To their right, as we look at it, Fernandez Alvarez. The red boat of Serafin and Kisley. Up and away nicely
Hungry
for
up.
all the front 3. A little bit jittery for the South Africans there. And that little gap is open. Nesbitt, though, closing the gap on the run. It's going to be the Spaniards first in.
Yeah, they had a great run there, actually.
And there's
Second
confusion from Kisley there. Didn't know that she'd put her boat over the other boat. Nesbitt trying to run long. No doubt the red boat can get back. It's whether the South Africans can hold on to them and get back with them. And I think Kisley being held up there served the South Africans very, very well.
It definitely did, because now they're possibly all going to make contact again. But Cinco and Chepe from Hungary putting in this interval. Fernandez and Alvarez following suit, and we'll see if they regroup after this when the camera pans out. Those are the 2 in the lead at the moment.
The red boat will get back, and they, you know, that's the South Africans lucky, I think, that Kisley is back there.
Yeah, so that's now broken off. Possibly one boat of that 6 that we saw coming in, which will be the second Spanish boat.
So that's Barrios and Osa. It's not an easy chase, is it?
No, definitely not. Those Hungarians are well experienced paddlers. Cinco and Chepe putting in a proper interval there once they got in.
So Spain off the back of this group. Sweden in the background. Not quite as close as it looks on camera. And this gap isn't closing. Cinco and Chepe know that they can put a little bit into Kisley and Serafin here. Around the turn. And yeah, they are going to close.
They're coming in quite sharp there, so...
What is that turn from
yeah, the Hungarians
Hungary
are going
too?
A little bit wide, but
Yeah.
they're actually giving the second Hungarian boat a chance now.
South Africans ridden up over the back of the Hungarians. That won't help them because the direction doesn't change then. Now we've got a gap.
Gap for the Hungarian
Yeah.
second crew to get back into that V-wash, which would
But
be
the South
favourable.
Africans are on their own now.
They're going to have to interval to make contact now, otherwise this is a critical part of the race where the group could split.
Cinco and Chepe know that it can happen now.
They're putting in a hard interval as they did out of the portage.
Red boat, we should see the nose of the red boat fairly soon, but the two South Africans,
They're going to need
they're
to
up
interval.
against it.
Yeah.
They're up against it now.
They had a little wave to climb, which wasn't ideal with that turn being...
Well, they got stuck over the back, literally over the back of the red boat of the Hungarians. And so you lose all directional control there, while the other boats are still going round the turn. You're not. And
These are the boats. This is the boat in the lead. Cinco and Chepe having a clean portage. Put in first. No, they put in second next to the Spanish.
Spaniards, yeah.
But they got away first.
Spaniards looking strong.
A little bit of a change of a lead, which could be helping the boats behind at this stage.
Yep. Everyone will be back in. But it looked like the South Africans pretty much there, right?
Yeah, they put in a good interval there. There was probably that second wash, which we've seen sometimes from the top view, the second
Yeah.
wave where you can paddle wide and come back in. They had the Hungarians just out of contact, which would have helped as well. So only one boat losing out after that first portage, and that's the Spanish boat. Big intervals now for that V-wash between two South Africans.
They both saw it. Jenna saw it first,
Yeah.
and it was seeing it first that won that race.
Yeah, so Nisbet and Wilson getting that V-wash. Hockley and McGregor just on the tail there of the second Hungarian boat, but they're all looking comfortable at this stage. But having a group of 5 we know is uncomfortable eventually as the race goes on.
This is the K2 I love, the Spanish K2. Just the rhythm, the feel of that. I just imagine it feels good in that boat.
Yeah, and these girls they're not strangers to this level of racing. They have been world champions before, been on the podium many times.
So yeah, Australia and Argentina, the tail enders in this one in 12th and 13th, just through the portage now. And the pace at the front has dropped dramatically. Not sure if it's dropped enough for Sweden to begin to take part again.
Yeah, we're not quite sure what's happening just behind. There was so much action on the,
Oh,
on the first
and the
portage.
second Spanish boat are out there somewhere, aren't they, as well,
Yeah,
between this
just
group
behind.
and the Swedes.
So it'll be interesting to see if they regroup, but there we can see one boat on their own, which would be the Spanish crew after that
It's a long way.
portage.
It's a long way down, isn't it?
Yeah, there's a bit of a gap.
And
Can't
no,
see
and
a
where's
blue-
Sweden?
Yeah, we can't see a blue tip yet.
They did come through here, so they are still on the water.
Yeah, that is a big...
Oh, no, there they are.
I think
They're just invisible.
yeah, the colour of the blue hasn't been picked up, so that's not actually such a big gap. So
No.
there's a chance that these two
Yeah.
boats will regroup.
Get together. Yeah, absolutely.
Their race is 25.5 kilometers, still lots to happen. Now we can see the C2 boats coming into shot.
And all change, isn't it? That initial swim for Jaime Duro doesn't seem to have hurt him at all.
No, just cooled off.
It's just, the lower body temperature has clearly played a part in them now marching off the front of that group. The Tarnowski's back in second, and they're being threatened by Portugal and Poland. Oh, Poland, that's intimidating sight as well, isn't it? That's the two from yesterday.
So that's Gyor and Borgil. We knew that they were going to come back like this. We just weren't sure when, after their performance from yesterday.
These two looking super good. Garrido in the back of that boat was so calm when Duro... Oh, no,
they got a penalty.
You have to be kidding me.
Except they got their own penalty by jumping out the boat.
What have they done wrong?
Yeah, not sure. That's something that we aren't aware of.
Unbelievable.
Haven't seen a message either, but at this stage...
And they still leave at the front of the race.
It's going to be a big ask now, but it's still the beginning of the race. They're great athletes.
They're still first away. The Portuguese have seen that little opportunity, and they've got a sense of urgency. Look at the Poles coming in at speed as well. All of a sudden, it's game on for the Poles and the Portuguese. I wonder if we've got any information coming in about what that was for.
Yeah, I didn't see
any. No.
That's the crew of Moldova, the Tarnowski brothers.
I think they're on the fade. They've already been overtaken by the Spaniards and the Portuguese, and now they're under threat from the Poles. Portuguese, like two little ferrets they were.
Yeah, they
running up the edge there. They saw that little opportunity and they were on it.
Yeah, they definitely saw that gap, and you could see the urgency change in the way they were putting in.
Hungarian C2 coming through the portage now.
Creating a higher decimal in the crowd.
Drink change, very inefficient drink change. Very poor from them. You would honestly think they've got the skills to do that better. So there's the leaders, Spain now with Portugal for company. At least one of those boats is happy. So Coelho and Lacerda now with Duro and Garrido. Behind them, the Tarnowskis and Zukora and Borgil fighting out for third.
And you can see there from the portage best times, Portugal are having 25 seconds, the fastest out of all of them by far.
So exciting times in the C2 race. Portugal now take the lead. Their turn at the front from Spain. Spain were away and clear. We can't give you any information yet on why they took that time penalty. But at least it didn't lose them the lead.
Yeah, it was somewhere on the course, and with the first portage, that's if there is a time penalty, that's where they have to do it. There's a big group of line judges all over, scattered all over the course. They're the ones that point out any discrepancies and then send it back to the tower to replay some footage and double check.
Portugal, Spain, now Poland in third position and looking extremely strong back there. They've overtaken or overhauled the Tarnowskis, who are now out of medal position. And it's Portugal, Spain and Poland. Poland by far the quickest moving boat out there. Looking very, very strong, Poland, as they come past us. We've got the leaders in shot. Poland about 6-7 lengths behind, but moving way better. than those two crews. There we get it. You can tell a little bit higher stroke rate, higher ambition, and neither of those front crews are going to want the company of Zukora and Borgil, I'm sure.
But watching how they're paddling and the pressure on their paddles at this stage, I think this is going to become a group of 3.
Before that bottom turn. They're closing stroke by stroke.
Yeah, they definitely are. Portuguese haven't realized, and neither have the Spanish crew. But whenever you have a carrot dangling and you're the chasing boat, you find that extra gear to make sure you can close that gap.
They're going to be there. Portugal still relaxed at the front. Coelho and Lacerda. Duro and Garrido to their right. They're moving right now, making a move for that bottom turn.
That Polish boat of Zukora and Borgil almost finding like a second wave coming in on the inside so that they can possibly climb over it and then shift their nose back in just at the back while the front group changed leads.
Still 5 in the lead in the women's K2 while the C2s come down to their turn. It's Hungary, Hungary, Spain, South Africa, South Africa. The second Spanish crew of Barrios, Osa and Anderson Richter now well out of it.
And there, as predicted, Ivan, this is your group of 3 now with the Polish boat making contact before the turn.
Just at the turn, yeah. And I think they're the crew with momentum, aren't they, the Poles?
Yeah, they definitely are. And they're not settling to sit there on their tail either. They're coming around.
Go around and keep the pressure high. I'm sure the Spaniards aren't best pleased to see them. They did have a lead on their own. Spaniards making a move across to the poles, aren't they? So maybe the leaders now. Still the Spaniards at the moment, on screen at least. Richter and Anderson going around that bottom turn. They're in 7th place and well off the pace. So the lead K2s will be back with us at the portage any minute now as we look at the Tarnowskis. Leaders in the early days, but now fallen well back through that field. And here we go. In order, it's Hungary, Hungary, Spain, South Africa, South Africa.
That white boat of Hungary definitely showing dominance of the crew of Cinco and Chepi.
That Spanish crew, though, I'm going to champion them all the way to the end.
Yeah, they're well experienced and they know what
just
they're doing.
like the way they do it. South Africans slightly vulnerable, I guess, if the others get a good portage again. They were saved last time by the red boat of Hungary.
But they were outlast.
Yeah, they were outlast and they did it. And then they caught up on their own on the downstream section as well. So it's not terminal, but I'm sure they'd rather come in with those other boats.
If they interval a little bit better just before the portage, so they're not taking out and having to wait for the other boats, then I think they'll definitely be safe. So they just need to be a little bit brave in the second portage and put a bit more of an interval coming around, and then they'll possibly take out a little bit quicker.
Yep. Cinco, Chepe leading in. I think we'll see that pattern repeat this weekend, all through this race.
So this is portage number 2.
Hungary up, out and running.
Spain.
Spain rise the same time as the second Hungarian crew. South Africans just a couple of lengths adrift, but nothing too bad. We know they run well, although that gap is opening a little bit.
Yeah.
But they got water in the front of that. Your first K2.
Yeah, it looks a little
heavy.
bit like the nose is dipping.
Yeah, it looks heavy. Away go the front three. Again, the red boat of Hungary, the third to get going. A little bit slow for the second Hungarians there with Nesbitt. And away we go. The Spanish trying to hold off the red boat of Hungary, and Spain looked to be slightly stronger than that red boat.
Yeah, so that interval from Spain is showing their desire to be at the front now after the portage and to be on the inside. This is the second Spanish crew who are on their own, Osha and Barrios. It looks a bit like their pumps weren't working either. They're lying in 6th at the moment, and they were in that front group and they just fell off after the last portage. Oh, little save there from Barrios from falling in on the other side. And this is 7th from Sweden.
Richter and Anderson. This is a tough call for Richter, isn't it? I mean, you've got an engine like that in the front, and everyone will always assume it's your fault.
Well, not necessarily. It depends how they combine. You've heard of girls where, especially when you talk about it in sprint, where there's girls that have slow K1 500-meter times, and you put them in a K2 with another girl, and all of a sudden they in the A final or they medaling. So it's all about combination and how you make the boat move fast. But it is tough for them now, having got a medal last year, and now they're sitting a little bit in no man's land. It's not ideal, and the motivation might be a little low.
So if they go around the turn, that second South African crew with Nesbitt still not quite made the jump, but there doesn't seem to be any real motivation to go away.
I think with the course layout and how you have to string boats out 2 by 2 after the portage, it definitely helps the K2s who are putting in near the back.
This time it isn't going to be Nesbitt that gets the V though, is it?
So this is going to be Hockley and McGregor.
Although Kisley's dropped back to stop that happening.
Yeah, so that could be a move from her. Maybe she does want to break the group of 5. She doesn't want 5. But at this stage, they're on the tail. But it's now forcing the South Africans to
they've got to do a whole journey up that
around.
Side, haven't they?
Kisley deciding that she actually wants that V and forcing the South African crews around.
Which tells me that they're not that happy, Serafin and Kisley.
Yeah, they're wanting to have a little bit of a break, putting the Spanish crew in the front. Those Spanish crew are moving really well together, almost looking like one boat. You almost can't even see the girl behind them, behind the first paddler. That's Fernandez and Alvarez.
Certainly if any of my girls' crew boats are watching at home, that Spanish crew is what we're aiming at.
Yeah, their shoulders are moving so well together. Their arms in unison, paddles in unison as they put their paddles in. Well practiced from many years of racing together. Both names Tanya, and interesting to the Hungarian crews, both names Pana. So luckily we're calling them by their surnames on this start list. So we have 2 Tanyas and 2 Panas in the same boat.
Always seems to me the South Africans overperform significantly in their K2 when you consider the firepower, the individual firepower.
We've always had really good results in the K2 women. I think it's just that they make sure that they're in the right places all the time, and then when they make a break with another boat, and then they just hang in there. So we really have had some successful K2s consistently in the past.
Yeah. Always, yeah. Every time we come to these events, there's always a South African crew in those K2s. So Hungary, is it Spain leading at the moment still? Yeah, Spain, Hungary, Hungary, South Africa, South Africa. There's the lead in the men's C2 going upstream.
Still Portugal, Poland and Spain. Yeah.
With Spain just struggling at the back, having been squashed into the concrete edge by the Portuguese. See how much they're struggling to keep that boat aligned behind the leaders, Portugal. That won't be helped by catching a K2 either, although the K2 should get to the portage before them.
The last portage, the Portuguese were the quickest portage according to their stats. So coming into the second one, it'll be interesting to see what happens here, because on the previous portage, the Spanish had to come into the sin bin and forfeit 30 seconds.
I think it was hopefully only a 15er, wasn't it? They didn't seem to wait too long. It didn't seem a lifetime.
Maybe it was only 15, which was also actually in their favor.
A minor crime.
Yeah, minor crime. We didn't see what it was, but they got a penalty nonetheless. Portugal out, Spain are out, Poland are out.
Both the Poles finally decided to join in on the portaging there.
Yeah, like the paddle at the
back.
back.
One seemed a bit reluctant to start with. This is aggro, isn't it? Look at that.
Yeah, a little bit of
close quarter stuff. We've got.
And both Polish falling in the water.
I mean, how do you make any judgment on that? I don't know.
Yeah, we'll let
it's the Poles of
line judges.
Yeah, at that point, maybe, I don't know.
They could have slipped if there's a replay, and it would have been all their own fault. With three boats coming together so close,
they were
trying
just
to
all
get in.
squeezed, weren't they? They were all pushing each other, sort of leaning on each other as they come in.
Yeah, actually, it almost looked.
It was the Polish, having to get round the flag changed the angle, and
but
it just
the Polish paddle was in front of the Spanish guy's body, which I think then affected him. So he put it over the Spanish guy's body.
Just ran out of room.
The Polish are strong paddlers, so at this stage...
And strong swimmers.
We think that they could probably paddle on their own and work their way back up, but at this stage...
But we know what happened after the last swim. The next time we saw the swimmer, they were in the lead.
Yeah. So this is still going to be a very interesting race. Only 2 portages down. A lot can still happen. But in shot, those are our top 3, with Spain in the lead, Portugal on the wash, and Poland just in the back. Definitely not the tidiest of portages that we've seen with the put-in.
So Spain, Portugal ahead of Poland by virtue of a little coming together. I think it'd be so hard to apportion any blame to that I think that would just be let slip. We'll keep an eye out for the yellow flags.
Yeah. The next portage could be interesting if anybody gets a penalty from that.
Laxo and Bacco coming through now.
Hungarian crew as the crowd goes crazy. They're lying in 4th at the moment.
Just ahead of Ukraine. But the way things are going at the front, with all the contact there is up there, fourth could quite comfortably turn into third.
Yeah, so these Hungarians must create a little bit more urgency in their race, and something might happen. But at this stage, you can see the Polish paddlers of Gyor and Zukora are paddling really hard, power on the blade, a lot more urgency than the crew leading from Spain and Portugal. So still being in the first half of the race, there is a chance that they could make contact again.
So Portugal, the only one so far without a major disadvantage. The Spaniards had a 15-second penalty. The Poles have taken a swim. Portugal, the only one so far to have a clean race. So the gap actually quite big between these lead two and the Poles now, much bigger than it was on the previous lap when we suggested they might close by the bottom turn. They're definitely not going to close by the bottom turn this time.
And they would have been shaken a little bit as well from that swim.
Yeah.
They had to empty. So as much as they're paddling quite strong now, it does rattle you a little bit physically and mentally.
Senior women on their way back to that bottom turn. They've already been 3/4 of the way round the island. Still Cinco Chepe leading. Spaniards to their left, Hungarians to their right. South Africa picking up the washes at the back.
So the messages I'm getting now is that Spain are going to get another penalty for pushing 2-1-3. I thought it looked like the Poland boat's paddle was in front of Spain. So that's really not going to be great for...
Yeah, I mean, they did push in as much as they were on the inside of them, but that's because they weren't being left enough room to go around the end of the I think that's harsh. It's not our job to make those decisions, obviously.
Interesting one, but that's the call. So when...
Well, so Poland now, Portugal now, get a free ride.
So Portugal on the next portage will probably go ahead on their own for as long as they can. And then Poland will be on their own, so will Spain. So it's going to be interesting, this race.
That was just a shot of Osa and Barrios on their own behind this group. The group remaining intact as they come round the bottom turn again. Hungary forcing the pace a bit, but it's going to be exactly the same group shape as it was for the previous lap, with Cinco and Chepe leading. Looking fairly pedestrian, the pace at the moment.
Yeah, no urgency at this stage, but it will be interesting. They're coming in for their third portage.
I think Group 2 in that description is just the boat going around the bottom turn at the moment. The two Spaniards on their own. Maybe over-egging it, calling it a group, but...
Yeah, but that is the only boat that we can see at this stage, and they're lying in 6th. But this is your top 5 in the K2 senior women's race. They're racing 25.5 kilometers. They're coming in for their third portage. All boats managing to get away and make contact again after each portage. So We don't see huge amount of urgency just yet, but they're only coming under the bridge now, which means they still have a couple hundred meters to go before we see them in shot or in our and not on the camera.
Just trying to make some sense of the GPS traces, but it's quite a tough one. The Moldovans coming through the portage now.
So it does seem a little bit like these K2 girls are going to come in at the same time as the C2 boats from Moldova, so hopefully they move across to the side or they pass them before the portage.
That's actually the Japanese C2, that one. The Moldovans just came through with Barbul and Taku, and it's Atani and Abe from Japan that the girls are chasing down now. And actually, that's going to get a bit... They'll get them before the portage, won't they? Somebody just needs to give those... Somebody just needs to give that C2 a bit of a heads up that they need to slow down a second.
And go wide. Because we've seen them coming into the orange buoy already, so they're going to come in very soon at this takeout. It's portage number 3, 5 boats in the front for the K2 senior women, 2 Hungarian, 1 Spanish, and 2 South African.
Oh, this is Japanese just moving out now. Somebody's told them now.
Oh, good timing.
So it's, it was a little bit uncomfortable there for the women in the K2s, not knowing exactly what was going to happen. It's all cleared.
Chepe and Cinco taking out first for Hungary. Spain are out. Hungary 2 out.
And with a fall for Kisley.
Not affecting them too much.
Well, unless the rudders broke, unless the rudder got squashed.
No.
The boat was being dragged on the rudder.
Yeah, it looks good for now, but you only see that when they put back in. 2 South Africans running well behind them.
Spanish, very tidy, in and away. Hungary first. Luckily, they're all getting held up as they leave.
Yeah.
It just keeps that group back together. These two should have been away ages ago.
Yeah,
Cinco, Chepe, they're going to run for it, and the Spaniards will drop round the back and come up their left side, I think.
The red boat seems to be fine as we see the nose popping out there, the second Hungarian crew. A couple intervals out of this portage. When the shot pans out, we'll see what's happening, but it does seem like the groups are all going to be together.
Both those front crews were just too slack getting in, weren't they?
They almost paddle they run quite short.
Yeah.
So they could take 1 or 2 extra steps. But
and then they were too close to each other. Neither of them could really get away comfortably. So the whole group, I think, will be back together.
Yeah, it always brings a different dynamic with K2s to decide if they should run longer or if the person in the front is in too deep water.
Barrios and Osa just coming through their portage.
So there we see them in shot. So they're lying 6th.
Barrios looked a little bit out of form earlier on in the year at the Europeans. She wasn't herself, it didn't look. They were.
She's had some really great years, but you never know. Not every year you have the perfect year. This is your group of 5, still all in contact with each other, being led by Chepe and Cinco from Hungary. The Spanish crew on their side, on the first wave, Fernandez and Alvarez, and the second Hungarian crew of Serafin and Kisley in the red boat, followed by 2 South Africans, Nisbet and Wilson, and then second South African crew of Hockley and McGregor. This turn always ends up pushing 1 or 2 boats out wide, as we've seen in the past, so hopefully they can make a better turn of this, but there's a good chance that all these boats will get around cleanly and reform and paddle with the diamond formation, as we've seen previously, going down to the bottom turn. Nisbet and Wilson getting into a better spot there as we see this crew jumping out. That's
Portugal, from France, from Czech.
Going in for juice change.
Neatly done. A bit of a bar of chocolate or something. Oh, not quite so neatly done. The back one.
That's Malova and Boriskova.
A couple of fingers
Czechia.
up the nose, I think, there.
And the French
Still,
crew.
Her sinuses will be clear.
That's Yue and Bonneau. And the Portuguese crew of Duarte and Gomez. Spain in the lead.
10K to go, 11K to go.
So they've completed 14.8 kilometers so far, 3 portages. As they cross on the opposite bank to us, you can hear the Hungarian crowd increasing the excitement, knowing that there are 2 Hungarian crews in this front group for the K2 senior women.
$285 meters now, back to that Spanish boat in the background as the Swedes go round the top turn, and that gap's going to be about the same.
Tough position to be in for the rest of the race, paddling on your own, but at this stage, that's where the Spanish and the Swedes are. Both still great paddlers. But it's always more fun when you have somebody to paddle with.
And that top, round the top turn, just as we saw it there, was Huey and Boinard of France, Duarte and Gomes from Portugal, and Milova and Voriskova from Czech Republic. Or Czechia. Can't get used to that.
There's a great drone shot from the top.
Is that the leaders of the C2? Yep.
Yeah, so that looks like the leaders of the C2.
But we know that
the Spanish have been given a penalty, and it's 30 seconds. They're not going to be happy with that.
30 seconds is a lifetime.
Just going to give the Portuguese a chance out at the front on their own.
Do you know what? It's going to give Portuguese the win, because the other boat is good distance behind them. The Spaniards will fall back behind that second boat of the Poles, and I think the Portuguese would just, they're coming on to 2 more big laps to go, and I think they will set gold. Both boats overtaking one of the back markers in the women's K2 is Great Britain's Urquhart and Kreft, just been overtaken by the C2s.
And they're out Spain first, but now they're on the inside with Portugal just behind.
That drink was close to the water as well.
Yeah.
I think it's on the dry bit.
Both coming in for a drink change. Except they're calling the Spanish crew now. Not sure if they're aware, but they have to put their boat down and leave their boat.
They're well practiced at penalty box action. It's their second go today.
Portugal a little bit unawares and unsure what's going on.
This is for the aggression at the previous portage.
And the
Portugal
Portuguese
cannot believe it.
No, I don't think they were quite aware, but this is Culo and Lacerda out on their own. They are currently in the lead.
Way.
And that's Poland
out. Are these going to come through before the penalty? No.
Possibly not.
No, they're not. Penalties up. So
Spain
Poland aren't going to take part in this in terms of gold.
And they'll be a little bit oblivious as to what happened in the front. They wouldn't be aware that Spain were given a penalty, except knowing that the gap has now become a little bit closer. But they're still in third. So that's Zukora and Borgil from Poland. That's the Spanish crew of Duro and Gorida.
All change.
Not having much going in their favor at this stage of the race, but they're still in podium position, currently lying second. But the Portuguese at this stage of the race have been given
the gold, really.
Yeah. I was struggling to find the words of what they but at this stage they're in a great space. They've made no mistakes. We feel their portages have gone really well, and they are the leaders. A little bit of fumbling from the second Spanish boat there.
Just a stumble as they came up the hill.
That'll be Busto and Miguens. As the boat from Moldova comes through, the Tarnowski brothers.
They've fallen back a long way since those early days, haven't they?
Yeah, they had a great start there, where we saw them and the boat from Romania paddling together around the island
drink
first.
fixing going on in the Spanish boat. The supporter didn't manage to get it in safely.
Yeah, with the C1s,
There's the stumble, just as he came onto the road section or the dry section there. Now this should go in, and it doesn't ever make it into the slot. He's running out of time. He's had to leave it. He's still trying.
Oh, he's taking the empty bottle out.
The old one out. The new one's going in. They're running out of time on the line.
So this is definitely more technical for the C2 changeover with juice than it is for K2.
He still can't get it. Can't go across the line, and he didn't manage to get it in the end. So here we go.
There's been an interval somewhere around the turn.
A little gap. 3 boats.
Still the Hungarian boat in the lead of Cinco and Chepe.
20 meters back now, the South Africans.
All of them looking around to see what's happened. Spanish taking up the lead, perhaps realizing that this could be a change.
This could be their medal right here, couldn't it? You could solidify your medal right here with a couple of minutes each in this front group. Could see you right.
If they've realized, they all glance back. We saw the Spanish girls glance back. You can see some urgency in their paddling at the moment. They're in the lead. The South Africans are not taking it without a fight. That's Nisbet and Wilson trying to find a little bit of a wave, second wave. This is still some calm water where it is possible to catch back up, but there's definitely more urgency in the Spanish crew in the lead now. These girls have been in this position before.
Look at that. So nice watching that crew. The Hungarians in the red boat, Serafin and Kissy, look a little uncomfortable to me. They don't look like they're going to be really fighting for that gold.
They're both really strong paddlers, but we know that Kisley has paddled a lot more in a K1 than she has in a K2.
Yeah. So senior women K2 on lap 5 of 7.
There's a shot showing the
Nesbitt's trying hard to find those waves out wide, isn't she?
She is trying something, and and we have seen this before, where you have boats coming in on a second wash and finding a little bit of a wave. And in this part of the island, you really can do that. It does seem like Hockley and McGregor have lost out a little bit. If there is a boat to have been lost out, but then all the boats behind are going to be strung out.
This is piling on. Now that second wash gets squashed against the edge, you have to tuck in again behind. It's almost come out wide this side maybe, but that gap's
getting bigger.
It is a bit big.
And these girls in the front now, we saw them glance across, and now we can see them working together. They knew they were a group of 5. Nobody felt like a threat to either one, because all 5 of them kept having good portages, good put-ins. They all got away together, but we know that a group of 5 is uncomfortable towards the end.
So we're down to 3. And that gap is growing.
The Hungarian crowd will be happy to see this. For South Africa, not so much.
Cinco and Chepe, definitely the strongest boat in this, and their leads have just put a dent into the South Africans, haven't they?
Yeah, they've been consistent the whole way around. They haven't been scared to pull out of a portage. They haven't been scared to pull around a turn to make sure they're in the lead.
So here's your medals in the senior women's K2. All around tidily by the look of it, and they're going to come in the same order as they have for the previous 2 portages, but this time without the company of South Africa.
as they paddle up and get closer to us. This is going to be their 4th portage of the day. There's a lot more urgency in the front now by these 2 Hungarian boats from Cinco and Chepe.
Just using this sort of 10-minute stretch, aren't they? Oh, there's the Romanians in C2. They look like they're out of the game.
Yeah, I'm not sure what happened to them, but they've possibly retired.
That C2 race is falling apart.
Yeah.
It's just crumbling.
There's lots going on in that C2 race. We can't even call the winners at this stage. We've said
Anything
so
can
far.
happen. Who else is going to get a penalty?
Yeah, we've said Portugal were in the lead, but we don't really know. We'll wait till the end to be sure. But in the K2 senior women's race, they're doing 25.5 kilometers. And these are your leaders. 2 boats from Hungary, 1 boat from Spain. This is the marker where they come under the bridge. A couple 100 meters to go until their 4th portage.
South Africa tenacious there, under the bridge still.
Yeah, not giving up.
It's not that far, but it's far.
It's going to be hard on their own.
Yeah.
If you have 2 boats that have just broken like that and they work together, you'll be kind of waiting for a mistake from the front group. But when you only have 1, it's really tough when you still have... they've completed 17.5 kilometers, so less than 10 to go on their own like that, but it won't be easy. All these crews looking really smooth though.
They are.
We'll see a little bit of urgency just before they come into the portage.
It's going to be soon. 2 Hungarians, the noise levels will go up.
Yeah, the crowd's going to love this.
1 Spaniard hanging in there with the 2 Hungarians. Spain, Hungary, and Hungary.
Hungary out, Spain out, Hungary out.
All running safely. Maybe the red boat coming through as well for a drink change.
Hungary going into the feeding zone. That was smooth. Definitely not changing it much.
Spain have a little opportunity maybe to put in first and paddle away, because the Hungarians are slow to paddle away.
Yeah, they are. Now there's a little bit of boats too close together, but that's really not affecting them actually. That was pretty smooth from both Hungarian crews. That was
best one, yeah.
Yeah, they were so close, but I think having their boats so close to the Spanish, they were able to just paddle over the tail end, and it didn't really affect any of those crews. So that was really good.
Let's say that's the last portage. Are these guys going to get out first? Are they going to get away first? I think they are.
It'll be interesting. This Spanish crew of Fernandez and Alvarez, they know that they, somewhere along the line, they need to start changing the order of how they take out. And I think if we see them take out in the next portage first, then they're testing.
Yeah. I don't know if they can. I don't know if they've got the power to arrive first, but a tidy portage and a good get-in would see them in this position for that final little lap.
It definitely could. So we are in for an exciting
finish. They'd be quite
finish.
hard to overtake, I think.
They paddle so well together, so they're getting their boat moving perfectly together. Well-experienced crew. They've been racing for a long time together. They're from the north end of Spain, closer to Portugal. In the background there is the boats of South Africa, Nisbet and Wilson.
They're not losing ground anymore, are they?
No.
They lost that initial bit when Cinco and Chepe put in a bit of an interval after the top turn.
But they would have had a really good, they would have had a good portage there, but this time on their own, not having to fight for a space. They would have put in cleanly, and they've kept the gap as it is. And they're still chasing.
Round that top turn. Just enough space left for the Hungarians on the inside. A little bit ragged from the Hungarian pairs, managing that situation.
So as we see it now, the two dominant boats definitely coming from the Hungarian pair of Cinco and Chepi and the Spanish boat of Fernandez and Alvarez. Kisley and Serafin haven't been pulling as much. They've been just sitting happy to sit where they are and hang on.
They were the first away from the start, weren't they?
Yes, they were quick.
So maybe they have got a turn of speed that they're relying on at the end.
And just biding their time now.
Yeah. Anderson and Richter through the portage as these girls come back towards us from the top turn.
That's a South African crew going wide, trying to catch a second wash of Nisbet and Wilson.
There's big rolling waves down the outside. The only problem for that is they have to come in again when they come past the start pontoon.
Yeah, that is the challenge.
So,
but I suppose it's a chance you take that maybe if you can get closer by using that wash and then you come back in, it's perhaps going to help. And then just in the distance, that's the boat, second South African boat of Hockley and McGregor.
Tell you what, Jenna is not doing bad there. Nesbitt is doing a good job.
Yeah, she's a well-experienced marathon paddler. She's got herself a couple medals before in her single, in the junior and under 23 categories, as well as K2 senior woman. So on a marathon level, she's really well experienced when it comes to marathon style racing, wash riding. And she's not giving up at this stage. They're sitting in fourth.
Spaniards just having a look over their shoulder and a chat, and I think they're going to try and break the South Africans if they can. I think they're a little bit conscious that the South Africans aren't lost yet.
They might also be thinking at this stage of the race that there's two Hungarians. How strong are these Hungarians? If we put in with them, are they going to outsprint us at the end? So I think there's lots to think about for the Spanish crew. But they definitely are speaking and trying to make a few decisions.
I think the South African crew is vexing them. They want them gone.
Yeah.
They don't really want to put in the work to do it, but they're going to have to. And it's just, Nesbitt at the moment is just an irritation to them.
Yeah, she's putting in a really good effort there. And I think that this wide second wash that you often see on courses like this is coming in favor, but it doesn't make it easy. And if you do come out successful on the other side, then the group puts in an interval and works you off after that.
Yeah, exactly that.
So there are pros and cons to it, but at this high level of racing, you wanting to try everything you can to make contact again.
Going down to that bottom turn. One of the K2s still coming up from that bottom turn. That looks like Urquhart and Kreff from Great Britain. Still headed upstream. Yeah, it was.
And there we have the leaders of the C2 men's race coming through. That's Portugal on their own.
Leaders by default, really.
Yeah, but
everything else has just fallen away.
Is there a little bit of a shake of a
is he
head
like,
to say,
what the heck's
can't
going
believe
on
it.
here?
But they made a really good portage early in the race
they did.
where
Yeah.
they caught back up to the crew from Spain. They had a really quick portage. They've earned this at this stage, even if some of it has fallen
the
into
Spaniards
place.
aren't that far behind.
No, they're not. But this crew is strong. We've seen that Gyor from Garrido. Gyor fell out in the water.
Yeah.
So we were almost looking at him lying sort of 6th and 7th at that stage when he had to jump back in.
So they're definitely less than their 30 seconds, aren't they?
I do think so. I didn't time it, but it did seem that way.
Here come the poles.
So all 3 C2 crews coming in on their own. They're completing portage number 4. Bojil and Zakura going in to change their drinks. So they actually have a drinking system over their neck, which is different to the other crew that we saw. He's deciding he's got enough juice in his bag.
So 3rd place in the C2. There's the leaders and there's the chasers. That is less than 30 seconds. So they've closed some distance down on that lap.
We have a replay of Moldova. They're choosing just to have their own drink, and Team Romania drinking their own drink in the seconding zone.
They're emptying out. Oh my word.
Don't think their pumps are working. Crew of Czechia crew getting something shoved in her mouth. That's a combination of Milova and Boriskova.
Less said the better.
Lifting the ponytail.
So Lacerda and Coelho in the C2 are just coming up for their final. They get through here and it's on their final lap.
They're paddling really well now. I think they've been able to lengthen out, paddle within themselves. They're hitting the water hard. For them, this is actually got a great moment.
Yeah.
We'll see what the gap is to the Spanish crew behind them of Duro and Garrida. They would be paddling with more urgency, but they've really had 2 unfortunate incidences already in this race.
If you take all their penalties off, they'd be miles ahead.
100%. They would definitely be
take
the
penalties
champions.
off, the swim out, they'd just be way ahead.
It hasn't been easy for them. So we're sure they will be on the podium. They definitely don't need a 3rd thing to go wrong. Distance to the finish for the C2 senior men's race, just less than 3.5 kilometers. The C2 men's seniors race 21.8 kilometers here in Gyor, Hungary. And it's Portugal, from Spain, from Poland, with the Portuguese boat in shot of Culo and Lacerda. Lacerda in front.
So that if the gap has closed, it hasn't closed enough for them to make any impact on the gold medal. In fact, it hasn't closed. It's going to be pretty much exactly 30 seconds.
And that's 137 meters as we see them come past. So this is your second crew of Duro and Garrido.
In fact, they've lost 3 seconds on that lap.
Now the Portuguese,
so
I think.
Portuguese are going.
Yeah, they're paddling well. There's your third place crew from Poland. This is Zukora and Borgil. And yeah, we go back. Looks like Nisbet has managed to get contact. That was a real big effort. She's sitting in the V-wash, recovering. It's not quite what
That's unbelievable.
Yeah, that is really unbelievable. We saw she put in the big efforts.
Yeah.
The other girls were picking up the pace, but she probably managed to do it right at the important time before the small island.
That is unbelievable.
And it's really incredible for that South African crew now. So we have a group of 4 in the K2 senior woman. She would have worked really hard. So for her to be in the V-wash at the moment is really needed so that she can recover. But it is going to be tough now going into the 5th portage when they come up again. The pace seems to have slowed a little bit in this group. But that's a group of 4, Hungary, Spain, Hungary, and South Africa. In marathon, you never know what could happen. Every time we see them come around, things change.
They'd lost a significant distance, hadn't they, at this stage on the last lap?
Yeah, they definitely did.
And that's a solid shift, a whole lap of work, but with a reward.
Yeah. But we always know when boats, especially in the doubles, as we saw earlier in the K2 junior men, when they change the pull, they lose a lot of ground. And with the boat that's chasing, they're keeping that consistent.
And with that front 3, they start worrying about resting up for the finish lap, the final bit, sprint.
Yeah, 100%.
And they start slowing down. Nobody wants the lead.
Yeah, they're thinking of other things now. And I don't think they'll see the South African crew as a threat. But at this stage, if anyone makes a mistake...
Just a slip-up is enough, isn't it? It's, the order's going to be the same again coming into this portage. This is, like, it's been set in stone, hasn't it?
Yeah, but now we have 4 boats, possibly for 3 medals, and one's going to lose out. But we have had some consistent paddling from the 2 Hungarians and the Spanish crew. But the South African crew of Nisbet and Wilson have definitely worked really hard, done an amazing job to get back there. So hopefully they'll have a really good 5th portage. It's not the last one.
Little lull before the storm as the women approach their penultimate portage.
This is going to be exciting because there possibly is going to be some more urgency and
maybe a little bit of testing as well.
And if they do try to see if they can break 1 boat, because now they're 4 or 2 boats, it'll be interesting to see because there's actually no urgency at this stage.
I don't think the red boat with Kisley in has the power to get in and get away. I think the only 2 that have got that option are the 2 white boats at the front there, the Spaniards and the Hungarians, with Chinko and Sepe.
And these 2 boats have been consistently at the front in every portage.
Yeah.
So only about 100 meters to go before they take out, and you can see that they are slowing down a little bit with this penultimate portage.
Yeah.
We have seen this in previous races. They're just trying to gather their thoughts and see what happens, not overdo anything, knowing that they still have 1 big lap and a portage to go.
Now picking up the pace just a little to come in. It's going to be the same old story. Chinko and Sepe up, out and away. Spaniards a little bit slower this time, but South Africans last to get out, but they run well enough to deal with that.
Spain going in for a drink, which will probably help the South African crews as they put in. Hungary definitely put in a big interval there in the run.
Spain running hard. very hard.
Spain know that they want to get in a way. There's that Hungarian crew of...
Ooh.
They're making a break.
Cinco Shepe giving it a go this time.
We weren't sure if they would do that, but they're showing some urgency for sure.
They're getting information from the bank as well. Serafin and Kisley on the chase, and the Spaniards just behind them, out of shot. There they are, and this is a mean little chase going on now.
They're going to make contact, then there's a small gap, but not too much.
Oh, it's going to be a painful gap though, because they are going to be caught for speed on these sections.
Yeah, but if the South Africans can just make contact at the back, they'll be able to get back there. But this does look like we could have a break. It's hard to see from this angle, but as soon as they get around the top turn, we'll see if there's a regroup or if there's a breakaway. Fast portage there from Hungary.
That chase pair are also flat out, which doesn't help the South Africans.
No, it definitely doesn't.
All that catching up. They're going to have to do it again. I think they will do it again. If this reforms, it'll stop and slow down, won't it?
Yeah. Spanish not giving up either.
I think they're using the red boat to get them close enough, and then they'll make the jump themselves.
Yeah. Whenever we see them go around the turn, that also changes things a little bit, allows the boats to make more contact. This will be 5th place, second boat South African, Hockley and McGregor on their own at this stage.
As they have been for a little while now. A little bit of confusion there about who was supposed to do what.
Yeah, but I think Hockley had to slow down there. She didn't want to drag the rudder. They're coming in for a drink, refuel. They have one more big lap to go and one portage and a short lap.
So 22k down, 3.5 to go. And maybe Cinco and Shepe have made a break. We'll get up there to see them any minute now. Or we won't, because we'll go to the leaders in the C2.
And this is them coming in towards...
For their final portage.
So they'll be exiting the island now. That's what it looks like. Portugal's exiting the island. They're your leaders. Lesotho and Silo. They'll be joining the main part of the river, coming up for the last long stretch, their last portage. Maybe we will hear the final countdown.
Yeah, this time. On the graphic, it's looking like 3 boats together with the South Africans off the back in the K2. But these guys, final bottom turn for them.
There's the second place crew of Gyor and Garrido from Spain, also exiting the island as Portugal go around the bottom turn. Just lapping a boat on the side. This is the 3rd place C2 crew from Poland. As we have the Swedes, K2 coming through the portage. The crowd is going crazy because on the far side we have the 2 Hungarian K2 girls in the top group with Spain.
Timing seems to have gone a bit awry in the front K2.
Yeah.
Maybe they're drinking, maybe something's going on, but it doesn't look quite right at the moment.
They possibly changed, and that's when we looked up at them, and they did stop for one of them for a drink. But it does seem like the South African crew of Nisbet and Wilson have fallen off again. They did work really hard in the last lap.
You have to feel for them. They're not going to close again, are they?
Yeah,
it's just too
tough.
much.
And it was amazing that they did get back, but they always knew that that portage coming up was going to be a hard one and a critical one. It'll soon be all about the C2 senior men's race as they're coming up, approaching the bridge, and then we'll see them coming in for their final portage of the day, led by Portugal's Lesotho and Culo, from Spain's Garrido and Duro.
here we go. Final portage in the C2 for the leaders, at least, as the Moldovans come through for their second to last one, just ahead of them. So they've avoided the ignominy of being lapped, but only just.
This Portuguese crew have been flawless, though.
They have.
So
yeah, they've deserved their win, I think.
100%.
Spaniards, you felt for them when they did the early swim, but then somehow suffered 2 time penalties.
So they will be happy with that podium silver after such a challenging race.
Yeah. So Portugal moments away now from the final portage.
This is their moment. They've worked hard for this. There we hear this final countdown.
Pretty pleased with themselves.
Yeah, definitely a smile on Lacerda's face.
They don't feel any pressure at all.
Running well.
It's going to be a big celebration for Portugal after this one.
And we're going to hear the Portuguese national anthem.
Yeah.
We've heard it already.
We had it in the short course, didn't we?
Short course men.
Yeah.
And this afternoon we know we have some good crews again with Pimenta and Romalo in the K2 men. But at this stage it's all about the C2 senior men as the top 3 come through. This is the Spanish crew coming in second. Duro and Garida, they're out. They're in smooth, so that's your silver medal coming in for their last short lap, as the Polish crew of Zukora and Borgil come in for their last portage.
Poland, 3rd place, to add to their gold and silver from yesterday.
Zukora just losing his drinks over there, so he doesn't have to do the last half a lap short lap with his drinking system around his neck.
I reckon that's for the photo opportunities at the end.
It's all about the photos, selfies on the podium.
And here we go. We're going to have our first winner of this session. In just a few seconds' time, it's going to be Coelho and Lacerda from Portugal. Enjoying those last few strokes.
Those are your world champions, loving the moment. That's the emotion right there.
He's got to go in with his mate.
Yeah, he does. Always made us to pull him in too. Love the emotion there. They had a flawless race. Smooth portages. They had one of the fastest portages recorded.
Spain coming in to take their 2nd place. Could have finished 3 days ago if it wasn't for all the incidents that they'd suffered on this one.
Still coming through with all the challenges.
It's been a tough day out there for Spain.
Silver medal going to Spain's Duro and Garrido. They'll be happy with that after a really challenging race. Oh, Sulo managed to get back in the boat, in the water. That's some skills.
Oh, no, they're the motorboat helped them, I think.
Did they? Oh, I missed that. I was giving them some huge kudos, yeah.
It's all trick of the camera. Next boat across the line is the Japanese, who are 1 lap short. And then it's your bronze medalists from Poland.
And the bronze medal goes to Mateusz
Zukora and Portage. 2 medals from this weekend for them, and they look pretty happy with that.
Yeah, they'll be pleased with that.
Yeah.
They had a little bit of a challenging put-in where there was a little bit of a bashing of boats. After they'd caught back up from, I think, about 7th place. So to get that bronze and rounding up the podium, they'll be pleased.
Next in, Busto and Miguel from Spain in 4th position. They'll be next across the line in about 10 seconds time.
from Spain are the 4th in senior men's C2.
4th in the world. It's always tough, but it's still a really great
Still
result.
all right, isn't it? If you think how many people there are. The senior women just about to head about a minute away from the bottom turn. Here we are in that race. So slightly different order this time for the final lap.
Yeah, so they've exited the island. This was your prediction, that the Spanish crew were going to try and get their nose in a favorable position at this stage. They're exiting the island for the last time. They're going to go around the turn buoys, and the Spanish crew want to be taking out.
Are going to be first into the final portage by the look of it, because the only crew that can overtake them power-based is Cinco and Chepe, who are stuck in the back there. So Spain are managing this supremely well at the moment.
Not sure if there'll be another interval somewhere going up, but at this stage...
Well, this is it, isn't it? Cinco Chepe coming up on their right. Whether they try and overtake them before the turn...
But they might actually just come up to push the second Hungarian crew into the V, into that tail wave, and then they'll be on the inside.
They're going to try and do it around the corner.
Oh, this is interesting.
They are going to try and do it around the corner. It's a tough one. The Spaniards have to get round and then turn right and squeeze them into the side. They've got to get to the side first.
The Spaniards are saying no.
They're hard ass, those Spaniards, and the job's done. The Hungarians, that is overtaking around the outside of the bend isn't easy. Spaniards will now just close in on them, and the Hungarians have to wait. They're now third out at the portage. That was significant. This is fun now.
We do know that the Hungarian crew of Cinco and Chepe have been portaging really well. They've been smooth on the takeout. So for them, they'll have the confidence of knowing that their takeouts and their runs are better than the second Hungarian crew of Serafin and Kisley.
But what you forget is that I'm a Spain fan.
100%. I think I'm also. But all three of these crews, they're great paddlers, and we're in for a treat of a final portage.
We are. This is going to be super exciting because there's a lot of stress here. Because I don't think, well, I think the Spanish know they haven't got the firepower to overtake on the finishing straight. Yeah. They have to be ahead if they're in with any chance of a win.
Yeah, so they have a plan, yeah. The South African crew can still be seen just in the background, keeping that gap, if you could say that, almost closing it slightly, but they're going to run out of time.
Cinco Chepe going to try and come round. Kisley. Oh, this is going to be tight.
For the second Hungarian crew, they might be coming out a little bit too early, but they want to push the other Hungarian crew back.
They've got to get to the side of the Spaniards. They have to.
And that's what they're wanting to do.
Here's the attempt now. They're going to try and close out Kisley. Kisley's strong. They're not going to make it.
Yeah.
They've tried 2 failed attempts, and they're only going to end up back where they started. That is expensive. That's expensive and mentally bruising. And
now they're dropping back. But they could actually still come around on the right-hand side just as the Spanish get out. But then there's a possibility that they'll get pushed into the pole at the takeout.
This is super tight. the Spaniards have done everything right. C2s are in the way. In a minute, get out of the way, C2s.
Yeah, they're facing the pontoon. Hopefully somebody's going to tell them to move and straighten up their boats. This is the last portage of the K2 senior women's race. This portage is going to determine the medals. All three of them are in shot now. That's gold, silver, and bronze. We're not sure what order it's going to be, but it's exciting. The put-in is going to be as important as the takeout.
Proper stress. Serafin, Kisley know that a good portage here will get them a silver medal, I think. The Spaniards letting the Hungarians up on the inside. Surely they close that door, surely.
But it does look like they are. That nose is a little bit higher forward than what it was before.
There's the door being closed.
That's a tactic.
Spain in the ascendancy here. They are going to be first to rise.
Spain
Away
out.
they go, they're running well.
Hungary out, Hungary out. Final countdown. This is the moment. Spanish crew's running hard.
Spain first at the moment. It's Spain from Hungary, That white boat from Hungary has hit hard times just at the wrong point. Spain slow away, but first away. Kisley could overtake now. It's the only chance they're going to get. Spain holding on. The Spanish holding on to their lead. The red boat of Hungary couldn't get by then, and the white boat is the most powerful, but they've got a long way to come round now. It's Spain have done everything right. And if they don't win it now, it's just because the others are better.
So gold, silver, and bronze has not been decided yet. This is a real exciting race coming into the final stretch. This turn is going to be as important as that last portage.
The white boat from Hungary are going to come out of this 2 or 3 lengths down, I think, because they're going to be pushed wide now.
Yeah, they need to be intervalling.
Yeah.
The red boat struggling to get their nose around, playing into Spain's
Game
advantage.
on for Spain. White boat looks like it's out of it. There's no way back from there.
Spanish using this to their advantage.
Spain from Hungary. They're going to be hard to catch, but there's still time. Don't go looking round, girls. Just go forward.
It's going to be about 200 meters to go. The race for gold is still on.
Spain from Hungary, The white boat is definitely going to be third. We can give it that.
Yeah.
Spain stretching, still stretching. They're going to make it.
Spain not letting up here. This is what they knew they had to do.
Alvarez and Fernandez all the way to the finish. They're going to make it. Yes, sir.
They're your champions. Hungarian silver and Hungarian bronze.
Come on.
Kisley and Serafin making a really good final takeout and portage there. That was a critical move from them to get that silver medal. And Cinco and Chepe, who showed dominance for a lot of the way,
you
coming in
have to say
bronze.
they probably messed that up, Cinco and Chepe.
Yeah, they tried a lot.
It was theirs to lose, and they managed to lose it. And Spain, world champions 2 years ago. 2 years ago? Yeah, I think so. Now world champions again.
They'll be happy with that.
Unbelievable.
And as they were celebrating, we had the South African boat of Nisbet and Wilson coming in fourth, not too far behind, putting in a big effort to catch up on the second last lap, and then just coming short on the portage.
I'm not sure Amanda was expecting that.
No, I don't think so. She's still looking a bit wobbly and holding the boat. She doesn't want to jump in.
No. Can you stop messing about, please?
There you have your bronze medalist in shots.
I think that celebration is about beating the other Hungarian crew above all else.
It probably is. It's always good.
Good rivalries there.
Yeah, good rivalry between the two crews from the same countries, and especially in Hungary.
Wow.
But it's all about your world champions in shot now. That's a Spanish crew of Fernandez and Alvarez. Big smiles.
Tanya Squared takes the title.
Yeah, Tanya Squared. That was a tactical move Ivan, you called it. You knew that this is what they had to do to get that gold medal.
It's easy enough knowing what you have to do, but doing it against two crews that are equally as strong as you.
Yeah.
There wasn't anything to choose between those crews in terms of power and pace by the end, was there?
But they were successful, and that was great. That was exciting.
Yeah, they positioned themselves perfectly. 2 seconds, give them a shout.
Those two Hungarians still happy with their bronze medal, closing up the podium as the world champions from Spain come through. We'll hear from them on the pontoon, some interviews happening as a couple of the other boats finish. We only have one race left for today's program, and that's going to be the K2 senior men's race at 1:30.
Amazing performance from those two.
We don't ever see them racing in K1s. They focus on K2, or have they before?
Alvarez raced K1 at the Europeans this year. They're presumably because Fernandez wasn't around.
Okay.
Did pretty well there, but it's not the same. That K2 is just a well-drilled K2, and it ups their level.
They're pretty potent.
Yeah.
So as the top four are having their boats weighed, we have the 5th place position of Hockley and McGregor coming across the line.
They had a good run to be with these girls in those early laps.
Yeah, they definitely did.
Very impressive.
It was a big group of 6 girls in the beginning. It's whittled down to 5, then 4, then 3, then 4, then 3.
Yeah. Just brilliant.
We have time to grab a snack before I feel like this is
half an hour. We might we'll just see Osa and Barrios across the line in 6th place, and then we might leave you for a snack because we've only got half an hour before the men's K2. QA running through the portage now with Boinard from France.
And soon we'll have the Swedish crew crossing the line of Anderson and Richter, paddling majority of that race on their own.
Yeah, an awful lot of time on your own there. Richter looks like she needs a bit of pressure relieved off the backside there.
So there's a medal ceremony scheduled for 1:15 and 1:20 for the K2 senior women and the C2 senior men. And we'll be back with the K2 senior men, which will be another exciting race for the last race of the 2025 ICF Canoe Marathon World Championships. We'll see you all at 1:30.
Across the line, Milova and Veriskova, and just behind them, Duarte and Gomez from Portugal.
Sorry.
They're down there somewhere. We moved them down there. Okay, we go over by, if you go around and come in the middle, and then go over there. I can go there? Or tell them you're there to pick up something. Okay, okay.
last portage for Bronwyn Martin and Lily Farrer from Australia. Ladies and gentlemen, we have one more race in this Canoe Marathon World Championships, the senior men's K2 long distance. It starts at 1:30.
More techno and metal. Not for some of them love you. I think a bit of rock and roll. I listen to happy music. I listen to 80s rock because it gets me excited for the race. Compete on different distance, sprint, marathon, everything that's great. Yeah, and we are very excited. It's a little challenge for us, but we will see. Okay, so that's my kayak. Here I have equipment which helps me with my stabilization because I don't have a leg, so it's very important here. That's very similar kayak like paddling other people, but it's bigger in this size. The weight is the same. With the raft that we are paddling on is similar to the canoe, but we sit in our boat instead of kneeling. And what is something new is the buoy that helps us to manage the balance on the water. So the boat is wider, as you can see. And usually we paddle between the main part of the boat and the buoy.
We kindly ask the athletes, the medalists, to come to the meeting point for medal ceremony. We are waiting for the C2 men's senior long race medalists, Ricardo Coelho and Rui Lacerda, Jaime Duro and Manuel Garrido. Mateus Zucora and Mateus Borgia, please come to medal ceremony. Thank you.